What can I say to them? Not big admirer of either.
Does it frustrate anybody else that we're not allowed to talk about what's really going on in our world? We're not allowed to talk about what's actually unfolding behind closed doors. We can't talk about Maui. We can't talk about North Carolina, and soon we won't be able to talk about LA. We're not supposed to know about the flood insurance that was canceled before North Carolina, and we're not supposed to know about the fire insurance that was canceled before LA. We can't talk about the color blue, and we definitely can't talk about the cities that are coming. We are not allowed to talk about what is really going on in our world. We can't talk about the shipping containers. We can't talk about why celebrities always look so young. We can't talk about what happens in the tunnels, and we definitely can't talk about what happens every single day beneath our feet. We can't talk about what is really going on in our world. Our world is not as it seems. Everybody that you see, that you look up to, our politicians, our celebrities, Hollywood, is not as it seems. Evil is running this world. And it is soon coming to a head, and Satan will step out onto center stage. The beast system is getting set up right in front of our eyes, and we are not allowed to talk about it.
I talked to a fireman once, and he goes, dude, one day, he goes, it's just going to be the right wind, and fire's going to start in the right place, and it's going to burn through LA all the way to the ocean, and there's not a thing we can do about it. I go, really? He goes, yeah, we just get lucky. He goes, we get lucky with the wind. He goes, but if the wind hits the wrong way, it's just going to burn straight through LA, and there's not going to be a thing we can do about it. Because these fires are so big, dude. When they're talking about like thousands of acres that are burning simultaneously with like 40-mile-an-hour winds. And the wind's just blowing embers through the air, and those embers are landing on roofs, and those houses are going up, and they're landing on bushes, and those bushes are going up, and everything's dry. And once it happens in a way where it's so spread out that there's nothing they can do. There's nothing they can do.
You just have to evacuate, right?
Nothing they can do. They just got to get out of there. They spent $24 billion last year on the homeless.
Yeah.
And what did they spend on preventing these wildfires?
Zero.
Zip.
And in 2019, I think Newsom said, I'm going to take care of the forests and maintain the forests and do all that kind of stuff. He didn't do anything.
And then on top of that, they cut the water off.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's all funny. And then I think all our tax dollars probably went for Gavin's hair gel.
And then he gets on TV and pretends like everything's great.
Mm-hmm.
And California's the best.
We did get some footage that was sent to us by email, and there are some anomalies within this footage. And the first thing I want to show is this house that's burning from the inside first. And it looks like, the inside caught fire first, and the outside looks still clean. I'm going to play it one more time. This looks like it's a microwave fire that caused, induction of electric eddy currents through the metals and the wiring in the house, which causes resistive heating and ignites the adjacent objects. So yeah, when you see a house burn from the inside out, that's not normal. All right, and then we have another clip from this guy who is in Pasadena, actually, and he will say how his house, or at least his roof, was fireproof.
Any kind of build, remodel, anything, the decisions after the decisions and the heart that goes into it.
Oh, the small details.
You talked about the roofing. What about the roof? You said it was fireproof. So do you question what happened?
That's our question. How did it happen? Because the roof was tiled unless the fire came from the sides.
Yeah. And
his car.
Yeah. So we also have a clip of his car, and I'm going to show that now. You can see that the front passenger rim has melted, and it's flowed about 4 feet there, and so that's at least 1,200 degrees. And the glass also appears to have been melted out of the car. I'm going to show it one more time so you can get a good look. That's at least 1,200 degrees for the rims and about 2,700 degrees for the windshield.
And what's different with this car versus the other cars that we're seeing in these suspicious fires is the hood is still there. A lot actually survive that normally doesn't, but Porsches have their engines in the back. But it didn't look the same as some of the other ones. Like the rims could melt at a fairly low temperature, but the engine looked like it still had a cover, and it looked like the engine was probably still there too.
You could probably get the rims to melt naturally if you used the right kind of like pine or really high temperature wood, and you arranged it around the rim, and you had some sort of like rocket stove type furnace setup. You could get the rims to melt that way. But you can see that driveway had almost no fuel laying around the tire, and the wheel, the rim, there wasn't enough fuel to burn that rim like it was.
I'll play it one more time. I didn't see
Okay,
this.
yeah. Yeah, so you see it was like in a driveway, and there's very, very little fuel within close proximity to the rim itself.
Call me a conspiracy theorist, but can someone explain to me why we have trees with green leaves on them? Let me show you right here. Green trees over and over, streets and streets, but yet 38,000 acres and all of these homes are destroyed, disintegrated, down to literally nothing. But the trees down the entire street, totally okay. Make that make sense.